Hello, I'm Matt from Swarm City, and I'm going to discuss the Swarm City design principles. At its core, Swarm City is a blockchain-based marketplace with a built-in reputation system, and we're building Swarm City so people can voluntarily transact with each other without any third-party interference whatsoever. We want people to adopt our software. We think it's paradigm changing. And we think if they do, they'll be able to reap the benefits of blockchain technology. Now, to make that happen, what we do is we try to entice our users with a very welcoming interface. And we like to hide anything that screams blockchain, like pub keys, for example. Now, onboarding in blockchain is challenging because the old world applications that we're competing against are very easy to use and understand. But Swarm City seeks to be the remote control of Ethereum to make it so easy that users just point, click, and get what they want, because we think nothing's easier than that. And so to that end, we've developed very specific design principles that make for an inviting user experience. So this is Swarm City, and where you tap is where you enter. Design principle number 1, less but better. In Swarm City, we show as little visual information as possible, and we scrutinize every single element on the page, and we only keep what is absolutely essential. And every element on the page is something that can be interacted with. There's nothing that exists for purely aesthetic reasons. And so what this does is it allows the interface to be very intuitive. For example, if a user wants to see everything that has to do with their wallet, all they do is tap on their Swarm token balance in yellow, and that would open up their wallet page. Or if they want to see identity information, all they have to do is tap on their avatar in the top left-hand corner. Same thing for these hashtags. In Swarm City, hashtags are marketplaces, so hashtag settler is a specific marketplace. And if you want to enter that marketplace, just tap on it. Also, if you want to create your own marketplace, all you do is tap on the plus button in the bottom right-hand corner. See, everything can be interacted with. There's nothing that's just left to waste. Design principle number 2, one at a time. In order to avoid the feeling of being overwhelmed, we confront the user with one visual message at a time, and we complement that with very succinct but also friendly copy. And that visual message can often be summed up in one sentence. For example, answer this question, or choose an element to interact with. In the screen in the middle, the Swarm City app is asking for you to write your username. So you get to do that. So that's an example of answering this question. And the screen on the right is an example of choosing an element to interact with, right? Because there's the backup my account button in the bottom of the screen. So by doing so, we limit the amount of focus needed to navigate through the interface. And another thing that we do is try to confront the user with as little amount of choices as we possibly can for each screen. So if you look at the red screen in the middle, the answer is basically yes or no. Do you want to delete this account from this device? Click the check, and that would be a yes. Tap the X, and you go back. Or the screen on the right, the blue screen, it's giving the user an option to either create an account, a brand new account, or restore an account. So there's just 2 options. We try to have the minimal amount of options possible. Design principle number 3, simple flows as an art form. We create very simple user flows on purpose. The user is taken by the hand and gently guided through often complex processes. And the screen here shows what it would take in order to post a request in Swarm City. Now, people who aren't used to posting requests in decentralized marketplaces might think that that's a hard thing to do. So we want to make it as easy for them. And making it easy means we're only asked them very few questions. So the first question is, what are you looking for? And in this case, the user enters in a design award. And then the second question is, how much do you want to pay for it? And the user has entered in 88 Swarm tokens. And then the third question is, where is this request relevant? And that's it. And once you tap on the blue arrow, then your request would be posted. And by using as simple flows as we possibly can, it becomes a personal conversation between the user and the device. And another thing to note is there are no forms to fill out and no hamburger menus for people to click on and to give a bunch of different options. We try to keep the options at a minimal and make the user flows as easy as possible. Design principle number 4. A little aesthetics goes a long way. We use simple aesthetic details to guide our users. For example, if you take a look at the amount field, it changes depending on how the user is interacting with it. The middle screen is what the amount field looks like when you first get onto the screen. But as soon as you tap into it, take a look in the top right-hand corner, you see the underline under amount in that field turns blue. And then as soon as the user starts to enter information into that field, in this case it's the number 33, the amount word goes up above and turns blue. And then as soon as the user is finished and leaves that field, then the amount descriptor turns gray. And of course, the 33 remains in the field. So you see how we're using small details that help guide the user so they know where they are in the process. Design principle number 5, replace complicated with easy. Now we're building an application that our moms can use. And our moms don't like things like long Ethereum addresses. Instead, we use shortcodes for sending and receiving Swarm tokens. So what happens is this. Someone who wants to receive Swarm tokens would tap on the receive button in their wallet, and they would be shown a temporary shortcode. Here it's 66419. And then on the other end, the sender would, after they tap send in the wallet portion of the app, they would get 2 fields. It would ask them how much do they want to send to this person and what is the receiver's shortcode. So they would enter in that shortcode from the receiver, which was 66419. So then after the sender taps on the blue arrow, they're asked for confirmation whether or not they want to send Swarm tokens to this particular receiver. So as you can see, using the shortcode is a lot easier than using long Ethereum addresses when sending tokens from one person to another. So here's the recap of our design principles. Number 1, less but better. Only the most essential element is kept in the Swarm City interface. Number 2, one at a time. We only confront our users with one visual message at a time, and we also use very succinct but friendly copy. Number 3, simple flows. We gently lead our users through complicated tasks, one step at a time. Number 4, a little aesthetics goes a long way. We use design changes to guide the users. And number 5, replace complicated with easy for our moms. Thank you. I hope that this gave you some insight into the Swarm City design principles. Now you try it. Check out test.swarm.city to try out the app.